Yo, what up guys, it's Jiedel, and it's finally story time. It hasn't been story time in a long time, and it's finally appropriate that I'm playing Rocket League for story time because this has to do with soccer. So, this is kind of wild. This legit happened yesterday night. I've never done a story time like immediately after a story took place. Like all of my story times have been based off like my childhood or when I was in high school and stuff. And it's just been a long time since I've done a story time. Basically, I just graduated college in the fall. I graduated one semester early, but I'm still hanging around my college town. You know, all my friends are here and stuff, and I'm still kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do with my life. I used to be in a fraternity, and I'm on our intramural soccer team. So intramural sports is just, you get to play sports against other college students. I'm technically not supposed to be on this team because I'm not a student, but the intramural website is separate from my college's website, so it lets me sign up. And so anyway, yesterday's our third game of the season. You know, our first game we lost, but we didn't have like any of our players there. Like we played down 2 people the whole time. It's indoor soccer, by the way. Second game I wasn't there for because I'm also not allowed in the gyms anymore. My college just doesn't let me go into the gyms. When I swipe my student ID, it actually verbally says, like, there's an audio file that plays from the swipe machine that says access denied. So every time I go to the school's gyms, it says access denied, like out loud. It would be embarrassing if I cared. I just really don't care. So sometimes when I go to our games, I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I even want to go. Like they might not let me to the gym. So I'll just start from there. So I'm walking to the gym with my friend Jared. So I get to the gym and it's like access denied, and he looks at me, he's like, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's the matter. And he's like, well, have you been paying your tuition? And I was like, yeah, like I always pay my tuition. I never have any problems with this. And he was like, when did you get your ID? I was like, I got it in the fall, which is actually true. I did get a new ID to start the school year this year. So I didn't actually lie about any of this. I've been paying my tuition. I don't have any tuition to pay, so technically I guess it's paid, right? So he kind of looks at me, notices that I came in with a friend, so he's like, all right, well, I guess, I'll let him in. So he lets me in. No, we're warming up. I make the terrible mistake of playing 1v1 basketball to warm. Like, I just see some random kid shooting, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a 1v1 on this kid just to get, like, an exercise in. Like, now that I've just been doing YouTube all day, I really don't exercise a lot. Like, my thumb's been getting a mad exercise playing Xbox a lot, but actual exercise has not been happening in my life a lot lately. I'm not gonna lie. I went for a run the other day for the first time, and I, like, messed up my shin by tripping. I tried to hop over, like a 4-foot barricade without, like, climbing it. I just tried to hop it. Almost got it. Barely tripped on it. Now, this 1v1 basketball game, I win barely. Like, I've been, like, the kid was a lot shorter than me. But the thing is there was at one point, this has nothing to do with the actual story, but at one point he blocked me, like straight up swatted me, and the ball went straight into the air and swished. So I scored off him swatting me. All right, so I'm exhausted for this, like, game. Like, I really shouldn't even be playing it, to be honest. And then first half, I'm playing goalie because, like, I just haven't played soccer competitively since I was a kid. So it's really not good for me to play the field or the court in this instance since it's indoor. Indoor soccer is amazing, by the way. Like, you kick it off the walls. It's so fun. Anyway, I'm playing goalie. It's going well. I'm blocking a bunch of shots. Their team's playing really hard. They don't really have any subs. But this ref is so bad. This ref, oh my god. So she keeps calling out of bounds. So in this league, only one of the walls is considered out of bounds, and that's because it's the wall with the door and it's where everyone puts their stuff. So that's the one wall you're not supposed to, like, hit the ball at. So she keeps calling it out of bounds by the goals, and so people are getting really mad that she's not calling the game properly. I don't really care. Like, most of this is happening on the other side of the field. Like, I'm playing goalie, so I let up a goal, then they score, and then I do, like, the dumbest move ever. They kick the ball away ahead, and there's no offside. So I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm a big American football fan. I'm just gonna knock this kid over when he tries to get the ball because I have the right to stand here too. So I miscalculate it. Kid goes past me. I turn around. I'm way out of the goalie area now. I shouldn't be out here. I'm playing goalie. And he shoots it in between me and my friend Jared. In the process, I try to double back and dive and tap the ball. I trip over Jared's knee and just fly across the goalie box and allow a goal. So that happens. Then we score, like, immediately afterward. We have an incredible goal. It's 2-2. There's like 4 minutes left in the half. So I'm like in the middle of the goalie box area, and they're near the edge of the goalie box. Now, the goalie box is really weird in this league because if an offensive player goes into the goalie box in this indoor league, it's an automatic turnover. The goalie just gets the ball, and if a defender does it, it's a PK. So, like, you cannot touch the goalie box if you're not a goalie. This league has some weird rules. I gotta get to some later. So at one point, their player's like on the edge of the goalie box, but he's like on the side of the goal, and because it's an indoor league, you can kind of be behind the goal. So there was no way he could shoot it. I start walking toward him, and she calls a handball on me. Now, I'm playing goalie. I had no idea what was happening. Like, I honestly was really confused. Like, I didn't even know that they called a penalty on me, like, let alone a handball on me while I'm playing goalie. So she says I was out of the goalie box when this happened. Like, that's why it's a handball. But the thing was, I was I wasn't in the play. I was like 3 feet away from the ball when she called it on me. And like, I'm not one to argue calls because I know it's not gonna ever get it overturned, but I was just like, that's not physically possible. I would have had to bend. I was like, my arms aren't long enough to pick up the ball without like bending over, and I didn't bend over. And this ref, because she was doing a bad job and everyone was on her except for me, like was just in like total like trying to assert herself mode. So she was just like, no, I saw you touch with your hands. Like, I know for a fact like I didn't touch with my hands because I wasn't near the play. But anyway, so the other team gets like a direct kick or indirect kick. I don't really remember which one it was. I don't know soccer rules very well, to be honest with you guys. I haven't played soccer for real in a long time. So the other team elects to just pass me the ball on their like direct kick or indirect kick, whatever it's called. They just pass me the ball. Now the thing is, I wasn't paying attention because I was just so confused that I just like let the ball, like I just pick up the ball and I'm really confused. So at halftime, I walk over to the referee and I'm like, yeah, so like what was the call on that? Because like I thought you called handball. And she's like, you did, you touched it with the ball. I was like, look, I'm not arguing you with the call. I'm just really confused. Like, why did I even get the ball? I was like, if it is a handball, like even if I disagree with the call, but I acknowledge it's a handball call, why did I like get the ball? You know what I mean? Like, I was so confused. I wasn't paying attention. The refs are so weird. Like, play stoppage and stuff in this league was mad confusing. So like, he's like, oh, they just passed you the ball. And I was like, oh. So the second half, things start to get crazy. So in soccer, you have yellow cards, you have red cards. In this league, you have a blue card too. It's like a half yellow card. Like if you get a blue card, you have to stop playing for like 2 minutes, I think it is. And if you get 2 blue cards, it's a yellow. 4 blue cards is an ejection. So the second half starts. One of our players, I am not kidding, runs right into their goalie on like a one-on-one fast break. Is that what they're called in soccer? Fast break. That's what it was, basically, a fast break. Run straight into their goalie. So this also means he ran into the goalie box. Automatic turnover, right? Their goalie responds by putting our player in a headlock and throwing him to the floor. So they give like a yellow card. This should have been a red card, honestly. They give a yellow card to the goalie, then they get the ball. So their whole team starts freaking out and they start playing mad physical. Meanwhile, I'm on the bench chilling because we have a 1-goal league. And like I said, I'm not really good at playing the field. And our other goalie, you know, we switch off at half, so he's playing second half. So I'm just chilling there. Like, and one of their players is chilling next to me. Like, we're just talking. Like, I'm kind of making fun of the refs. Just like, I'm laughing. I'm having a great time. Like, I'm not having a big deal. So then our player who got into a headlock subs out, right? The game goes on for 2 minutes. We don't score. He's like, you know what? I'm going to sub in. He subs in. We run this weird inbound play where we like pass the ball across the court and he immediately scores. So like in a 2-minute span, he basically got one of their players ejected by breaking the rules and then scored. It was the most savage sequence of events I've ever seen. So their players start just accumulating blue cards. Like they're playing mad physical, they're flopping on everything. Every time this ref does anything, they just start freaking out and they start back talking. And like our team was talking to the refs a lot the first half, but we realized if we just shut up, like their team was going to accumulate a million fouls. So our team just stopped talking like all together. I mean, I was never talking. I never talk shit to refs like in any sport, just not what I do. I watch so many games where people try to argue calls and it just like it never gets changed. The call never changes unless you're Dwayne Wade. Sometimes he gets the call changed. Anyway, so like I'm like joking with this one guy in their team. So he finally subs in, right? I'm still on the bench. I'm chilling. I'm getting ready to sub in. And there's this one rule I wasn't sure about where like if you have the ball in between your feet but you put your hand on the wall, it's like a turnover, or like you give the ball to their goalie or something. So I'm asking one of my teammates about this rule and he's like, oh, I don't think that's a rule, but I knew it was a rule. I just didn't know what it was. I was like, oh no. So the other guy who was chilling next to me gets a yellow card. So he has to come sit out. So there are 2 players down at this point. And the like director of the referees or something has to like sit in on the benches to watch this game because it was just going so badly. Like there were so many stoppages. Like at this point, their team had probably accumulated like 6 blue cards and 3 yellow cards. Our team had like 1 blue card. Like their team was just getting really mad, just yelling at the refs nonstop. So I asked the referee head guy, I was like, yeah, so is there like, what's the rule with putting your hands on the wall? And the dude thought I was talking crap about the calls or complaining about the calls. And he's like, really? Are you really gonna talk shit? Look at the game, man. Storms out of the gym. Like this kid legit storms out of the gym and I'm sitting there and me and my teammate are just like, did he think I was talking shit? Like I was literally joking around with that kid like 2 minutes before this happened. Like obviously I'm not talking shit. So I sub in, the kid subs in and immediately like, I didn't even see what he did. He like shoulder to shouldered somebody or something, gets a red card and he's like refusing. And some of their players, like one of their players like, man, we don't gotta play this game. They're not gonna play soccer, we're not gonna play soccer. So apparently the kid who did this, gets the red card, said something like, wow, you can play soccer or you can play dirty. And I'm up for either one. He said that to a ref apparently. So he gets kicked out and then he refuses to leave the gym. So the like head guy of intramurals is like, yo, if you don't leave the gym, we're gonna call the cops on you. So this kid is about to get the cops called on him. He leaves. There's like 2 minutes in the game. I've literally done nothing the second half. I've just been like walking around on the field. Like I think I made like 2 plays plays on the ball and that's it. And then like their team, like it's taking such a long time for this guy to leave the gym and there's 2 minutes left that everyone in the game is just kind of like sitting around waiting. Like most of us have no idea what's happening. Like I legit for most of the game really had no concept of what was going on in the game. But at that point I was just like super confused, you know, like what was I supposed to do? So he gets kicked out. And then at the 2-minute mark, so then it's like, you know, everyone's just waiting around. They just decide, they're just like, you know what? We're just not gonna play. So they leave. Their team just leaves with like 2 minutes left. We're just chilling there like, well, I guess we win, I suppose. Like, I don't even know, man. I've never seen that. At the end of the game, I'm pretty sure there was like 8 blue cards, so half yellow cards, a red card, and like 5 or 6 yellow cards. And I'm sure like all of them but 1 blue card were on their team, which is just insane. Like at that game, it really wasn't even soccer. So yeah, hopefully I did a good job telling that story. I haven't done a story time in such a long time, so it's hard for me to know if I'm doing a good story or not, you know? I'm really excited for our next game. Apparently we're playing the best team in the league. I think we're the best team, but I always think like my team's the best team in every sport I play, so I don't know if that really count. It should be dope. I know a lot of you guys want more story times and stuff, but the thing is, like, y'all gotta think about, like, what is this channel? This channel is me playing video games. Like, I don't do a lot of exciting stuff every day. You know, I play video games. Like, I hang out with friends. I eat food. I'm a big food person. I do have more stories to tell, obviously, that have been untold. I got part 2 of that other one we gotta do. Hopefully, you know, some more stories happen. And hopefully, in the future, you know, if there's a story happening in my life, I'm, like, recording it or vlogging it, so I gotta do a Rocket League video on it, you know? Thank you guys for watching the story time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, leave a comment, and peace.